You've probably heard of Pop Team Epic. It's that one really bizarre anime with strange surreal jokes that provided us with a bunch of great reaction images. And it's easy to write it off as just that. But then you watch an episode and there's this entire section about two veteran comedians who are starting to face the reality that they're not as popular as they once were, and that they're starting to get booked for smaller venues with shared dressing rooms like they had at the beginning of their careers. There they meet new blood comedians who are trying to impress them, and then reminisce about how in the past they were in their shoes, trying to impress someone else, and they contemplate the changing of eras. It's funny, sure, but it's also so genuinely heartfelt, with this unusual art style to boot. And then you start thinking about what the hell are you even watching, because that's the beauty of Pop Team Epic, that you never truly know what you're getting into when you click play on the next episode. Today I want to tell you about the ways in which this self-proclaimed shit anime in fact ends up trying harder than the vast majority of shows nowadays, often pushing the boundaries of what you even think of when you talk about anime, and all the things that make it pretty cool. Pop Team Epic is the anime adaptation of the manga by the same name by author B-Cub, although calling it an adaptation might be a bit misleading. Sure, it has direct adaptations of some of the comic strips, but most of the show is original content that incorporates some of the most famous jokes in the manga into the new material. The show is episodic, and the episodes themselves are composed of short sketches, so you never know what you're getting, and you might get several distinctly different things from a single episode. But no matter what it is, Pop Team Epic does it with 100% serious effort. Because it lacks a traditional structure, it's hard to explain the show, so I'll instead just give you some examples. So they want to do a mech anime parody. Sure, that's easy. You know what is not easy? Spending God knows how much of her budget into making the aforementioned parody to have it be extremely well animated, as a joke. Like, you know this pose right here? You've probably seen it before. This is the Obari pose, named after the legendary mech animator who created it. And guess what? They actually hired this very living legend to help animate this segment, which again, I remind you, is a joke. Or there's this other episode where they do a parody of old school anime about gangs of delinquents fighting. Most shows would be more than happy with just mimicking the dialogue and story patterns of the era, but not Pop Team Epic. This show instead made the entire segment look exactly like the old anime cell animation style, to the point where it looks so perfect that most people wouldn't even be able to tell it's from a modern show. There are also these segments in the first season where a random French guy starts talking to you. There are no subtitles, so if you don't speak French, you don't know what the hell is going on. And they're always followed by an animated segment where Popuko and Pipimi are also speaking French. And they never tell you what the hell this is about. And after looking it up, it turns out that this French guy is an animator working for the studio that made this show, and he can't speak Japanese. So they thought it would be funny to give him the comic strips, have him interpret the story in any way he can, not being able to read any of it, and then turn whatever he made up into an animated segment written by him, because it would be funny. Then you have the Bobo ne Mimimi segments, which are really hard to even describe. They're made entirely by the two guys from AC Club, the ones responsible for the Internet Relic and Masterpiece we know as Gallo Sengen. And these segments are exactly as weird as you would expect from them. Honestly, it's not even worth trying to describe them. And speaking of AC Club, there's this entire episode of the second season that is just these two guys, telling a story using drawings on these flipbooks, all voice acted by them, all done in one long take. And even if you don't get the style of humor, the sheer talent required to pull this off, combined with the fact that the studio somehow greenlit this being an entire episode, is nothing short of amazing. Between segments like these and stuff like musical segments featuring stop-motion animation of real-life dolls, an advertisement for a Brazilian theme park in Japan, cameos by other characters from different anime that make you question how in the hell did they ever get the rights for, and an entire episode that is inexplicably a live-action Super Sentai with its own opening, celebrity actors, and story, it becomes clear that yes, Pop Team Epic is a shitpost, but like all great shitposts, it's a shitpost made with love. I'm not going to make a sweeping statement about the entire anime industry. It would be easy to say that we live in a world of endless isekai light novel adaptations, where creativity is ever stagnating, but I believe that there's still plenty of originality out there, and Pop Team Epic is proof of it. Whenever you think of anime, you might think of many different things, but it's probably none of this. Pop Team Epic is absurd, it revels in its absurdity. It makes fun of the anime industry, it wastes its budget as a joke. It's irreverent, but at the same time it's refreshingly 100% honest. It doesn't try to hide behind a layer of irony, it doesn't claim to be better than other shows. Pop Team Epic just boldly dares to be itself. Some of it works, some of it doesn't. Some episodes are not going to be for you, but if you appreciate a group of people genuinely trying to be creative, willing to take risks while also not taking themselves too seriously, I believe there's something here for everyone, if you're willing to give it a try. Another thing about Pop Team Epic that I would be remiss if I did not mention is how it has a lot of industry inside jokes when it comes to its production and casting. I mentioned earlier how they hired Obari to animate the mech segment, but that's not the only example. There's an episode where the ending is sung by Igarashi Hiromi and Matsuzaki Reiko, the voice actresses for the Idol Master characters Anzu Futaba and Maboroshi Kirari. Just because B-Cub, Pop Team Epic's author, is a massive fan of these characters, and in the voiceover before they start singing, the two voice actors acknowledge how it's weird that they only showed up to sing the ending, and make fun of B-Cub for using his influence to get him to sing the ending just because he likes the characters. And that's only scratching the surface. You see, Pop Team Epic's episodes are divided into two parts, the first being voiced by females, while the second part is voiced by males. And every single episode has different voice actors playing the roles of Popuko and Pipimi, resulting them in being listed as being voiced by like 24 different people on my anime list. And if you're a Seiyu fan like I am, this is just an absolute joy, because with every episode you get to see legendary voice actors playing these goofy roles. And it's not chosen at random. Every pairing is chosen based on famous performances by these actors in the same source material. For example, the two comedians I mentioned in the beginning of this video were voiced by Takaya Kuroda and Hidenari Ogaki, who voiced Kiryu and Majima in the Yakuza series. Other legendary pairings include Yusei Nakao and Norio Wakamoto, also known as Frieza and Cell, and Megumi Ogata and Yuko Miyamura, who play Shinji and Asuka. There's actually a chart someone made listing all of the voice actors and actresses across all episodes, and I'll put it in the description of this video in case you're interested in checking it out. But yeah, it just goes to show how much effort is put into making this show as unique, creative, and expressive as possible in its own weird way. So, the next time you think of Pop Team Epic, it's fine if you still think of it as that one weird gimmicky show with a bunch of whacking things happening that doesn't always make a lot of sense, but know that hiding beneath the surface, it's a show like no other. An absolute masterpiece of a practical joke. And that's what I think makes it pretty cool.